I can only apologize, folks. Test, test. All right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, folks, how you doing? We're live. I didn't mean to hit go live, but I do mean to roll with it. And we have the spooky font on. Let's not do ourselves a disservice here. Jump into chat for a moment. Hey, everybody, welcome to WYCD Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. That's your old pal, Jake, and I am preparing tonight's What You Can Do, the show. But hopefully, in a moment, I'll be joined by the Anticorporatist. Oh, my hair looks like it's picture day. Hold on. That's the correct amount of mussed up. Yeah, we are gonna hopefully be joined by the anti-corporatist in a moment. I want to talk about guns a little bit and life and what we can do. I'm coming up with a plan for tonight, and I hit something of a wall. I want other people's input, so hopefully we'll get some people joining. And in the meantime, let me see here in the design section. Yeah. Yeah. And in the meantime, hmm, I will just keep my eyes peeled for AC. I guess in the meantime, let's talk a bit about what I intend to talk about. I wanna discuss the manhunt for the mass shooter, or rather, not even the manhunt. We know how that's going to happen. They will eventually find the guy. And no matter what else we learn about this person, we will learn that there was no logical reason to do what they did. They've killed at least 18 people, wounded over 60 people. And the question is always, why does this happen in the United States? We know why. We just do. There's too many guns. Um, so what do we do about it? I'm being haunted by the cursor blinking at me on the Google sheet. What do we do? I mean, realistically, we cannot say get rid of all the guns tomorrow. Even if we signed a law saying all those guns, they're now illegal. There's so many of them. Um, I'm not sure that would accomplish our goals, at least not in a timely manner. So, what do we do? My initial thoughts are focus on laws that restrict the carrying of guns in crowds of people. Like if it is a place where you can expect a mass to gather, you are not allowed to shoot there and you are not allowed to have a gun there. Can you can you own a gun? Yes. Can you carry a gun around more than 4 people? No. That's the kind of rule I'm considering. But I think we need to view the issue from that standpoint. To say that there is situationally times which your rights to own a gun do not apply. Just like we say one such situation is flying on a plane. You have a right to own a gun. You don't have a right to carry it and have it, cuddle up with it or whatever it is NRA types do on a plane. Why? Because there's an obvious safety threat. It has nothing to do with your self defense, everything to do with the safety of other people around you and, hell, your own safety to not have a gun on a plane. Similarly, I think we should start looking at where else you cannot have a gun. Set aside whether or not there you can legally purchase it. Where are you allowed to take it? Where is just plain out verboten? I think anywhere near a school, anywhere near, within 5 miles of a school should be a gun-free zone. The practical reason for this being, if if you see a person with a gun anywhere near a school, you can just call the cops. You don't have to wait and see how dangerous will this get? How threatened do I have to allow these children to be? Bad lefty, nowhere. Nowhere. I would like that, frankly. That's where I am. I think guns are at this point, with military technology being what it is, guns are no different than judo is for me. It's a fun hobby. It's just a neat little hobby. I don't. I could count on one hand the number of times I've had to defend myself from ninjas using martial arts. Really, very few times in my life have I had to defend myself from ninjas using martial arts. It's just a hobby, judo is. And so, in my opinion, are guns. They're just a hobby. Yes, you could technically use it for self defense, but there is always, always a better answer for that, for self defense specifically, at least in my opinion. But set it aside because I just don't think it's feasible. I think it's not even if if we want to debate it, we can, but I don't see why because we can't accomplish it. So where can we agree there should be no guns allowed? I think 5 miles, within 5 miles of a school, but that wouldn't have helped the folks in Maine. I think by default, um, we could we could say if there's essentially use a restraining order tactics. If there's a gathering of more than 4 people, more than, let's say, 10 people, 100 people, then just assume you're not allowed to have a gun. That's the default law. Call it the anti-mass shooter law. That way, if you know there's a gathering of, let's say, 200 people, there's a local concert going on, and you see somebody roll up with a gun, you don't have to wait to call the cops. You can call them immediately. Start the 4-minute countdown immediately. Save lives. Hi, says Bad Lefty, and I hope nobody just got arrested. I just saw a few seconds of the Anticorporatist, heard a blast of a siren, and stream ended. Yeah, if I just spoke with the Anticorporatist. First of all, he's all right, and second of all, he says it's going to take him at least 5 minutes to shake the cops. I don't know. I don't know how semi trucks work, but you know, he sounded confident. He sounded confident. I would think that inherently a cruiser is going to be able to outrun a truck, but he was like, "I got it. Don't worry." So I'm gonna put faith in him. I mean, he's demonstrated a level of expertise that's so far beyond my own with that I just assume he's got it. But hopefully he will join. I sent him the link over email and I didn't tell him. Stand by. Link sent to email. Can send here if easier. Oh, hello, Domenico. Good to see you. Just discussing guns. Like what is practical legislation we could get passed? I'm also looking for unique ideas from y'all, and I mean specifically unique. I'm trying to come up with things that have not been um, proposed before, and the reason is not because I think earlier proposals were bad. It's just that Republicans have an inherent weakness in that they are lying about everything, and so they don't have any ethical basis for their decision making, so they cannot make decisions independently. They can't make arguments independently. They need to first hear why what Fox and Trump and Lindsey Graham and all the cackling demons of the world are going to. Sorry with the religious stuff again. All the cackling madmen of the world are going to agree upon as the line, you know, as their reason for being against it, because they can't just say we don't mind kids dying, we don't mind people getting murdered in the streets, we get bribed by the NRA. They can't say that. So that's why I think coming up with a unique solution has a better chance, simply because they're not prepared for it. Ooh, I see somebody. I see an old friend of the stream. Anticorporatist, hello there.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Can you hear
Glad
me well, or should I put my other headphones on?
that sounds good. It sounds good. Glad you were able to dodge the fuzz.
These ones are dope.
Ooh, okay.
Oh man, that was
Oh,
scary.
but let's say
Okay,
yeah,
can I hear
that
you,
was a climactic end to that.
Jake?
Oh, you can hear me? Hello.
Okay, I
Hey
need to turn
there.
up the volume, I guess. Let's see. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it's super weird. Huh? I can't hear you for some reason. Okay, let me put these
Uh-oh.
away and see what. Oh, actually, let me try something real quick. Um, hmm.
Well, I'm gonna say hi to the folks in the stream. Sonia B, hello. My dogs are Goth. Hello, Bad Lefty. Good to see you. Delighted to be joined by you tonight. And to the or the four others joining us, hello, and hopefully we'll build this up a little bit. Hmm. Well, hopefully Anticorporatist will be back. Hopefully he can
One
get
more time.
connected. Alrighty. Hopefully that'll work. The topic of discussion for nowsies is
Hey, can
gun
you hear
control.
me?
Hey, good. Yes, good to have you, sir.
Oh, good. Oh, I had to unplug them and replug them or something. According to Pinky,
It
these
worked.
things are loud AF. Cool.
Oh, well, perfect.
Add
We
more
we both
viewers to
have
the
a
stream.
volume.
Go live.
We have a
Cool.
volume limiter. We should be good. I just want to say, first of all, I'm glad you were able to evade the fuzz. Uh, Second, the topic where I'm mulling over right now, and I would love your initial thoughts, are environmental coffee house. Hello, is gun control legislation. Is
Hmm.
there any that comes to mind that you would like to see enacted? Is there any that you think would actually have perhaps stopped the mass shooting recently in Maine? And I'm gonna be
So,
listening, but I'll be off camera for a second.
what? Okay, cool. I'll be off camera too because it's pointing out the front of my window.
Yeah, yeah. I
Gun
just wanna I
control is
wanna fill
kind
up
of
the
a
screen with that.
yeah. No, I hear you. Gun control is kind of a sticky wicket. So what I ooh look vineyards. I don't have ADHD at all. Okay. Gun control is kind of a sticky wicket. Part of the problem that we have is we have so many guns already out there in this country, and of course, if you if you start talking about taking people's guns away from them, like that's just a complete non-starter. You know what I mean? So I I don't know. Yeah, I mean, ideally we would at the very least stop selling these weapons of war. Actually, Bo had a good thing on this a little while ago. where he was talking about the new guns that the Army is getting to replace the M16s, which AR-15s are very similar. The new guns that they're getting to replace those are way more powerful. And he said, "Hey, just let those get out there, and we'll have a couple events, and everybody will be pro gun control." Can I hear you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. Cool. You were not saying anything.
No,
That's
it's
fine.
that's
Um,
that's a terrifying concept that he's put out.
it is it is it is terrifying. But so the thing that we can do, what you can do is we can limit magazine sizes. As a matter of fact, California banned large capacity magazines a while ago. They actually they grandfathered in people that had them as of that purchase date, and then they got rid of the grandfathering. So now you can no longer have a magazine of any larger than 10 rounds in California. And 10 rounds is plenty. Honestly, there's a part of me that's like, hey, everybody should be bolt action only. You know, how many
Yeah.
shots do you need to take down a turkey?
I
You
have
know?
I have 2 wild theories. One is
Yeah.
entirely based on culture, and the other is actually serious, I guess. The culture-based
Okay.
one is going off of what you're saying, actually, but
Let me check this out.
mine is, coming from a less serious place. Um,
Is that a cool view or is that completely weird?
it's about 2/3 of a cool view.
See, and then there's my mirror.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
One of these days I'll do a deep dive in that. I actually released a short this morning because my short that had really taken off was when someone had put a trailer too high, and when I went to go grab it, wait, when you go to grab it, you can if it's the right height, when you go under it, it'll be lifted up by your fifth wheel, and so you can tell. But if it doesn't get lifted up by your fifth wheel, and so this one before like didn't get lifted up at all, and this one today didn't really get lifted up at all either, but it wasn't like visibly high. But I went ahead and cranked it down first because otherwise, when you try to crank it down, what will happen is your whole truck is hanging on that fifth wheel. So you're trying to crank down a trailer that has 20,000 pounds
Ooh,
hanging on
yeah.
it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a hard crank. That's you're using the crank in low gear, which you otherwise would never do, pretty much never do. How's the view? Is the view straight? I usually
Yeah.
I have my full screen for it, but now I have like nothing. And you know
No,
what?
it's good.
I don't have the chat. I have the chat, but the chat is like a quarter of my iPhone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So oh hey. Hi man. Can you guys still see okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good. I made the
Yes.
chat so I can actually see it, so you don't have to be just the person that reads chat to me. This is actually better than a chat
Oh,
on YouTube. I'm gonna have to f with this more often. Yeah.
heck yeah. So here's
It's so yeah.
here's 2
Give me your wild
solutions.
thing. Okay.
Number 1, wild thing. We limit it to, weaponry that was available in, like, 1880. So you can
Mm-hmm.
have a 6-shot revolver, you can have a lever action rifle, and their built-in capacity, and just say, like, "Look, these are the guns that were around, within 100 years of America being its own country.
Right.
Beyond this, we can get into a debate over what a gun even is. Is an assault rifle the same thing as as the muskets they were talking about? I don't know, but we can say that in 30 years, in 40 years, a gun might be something that can level a city. We could have gauze rifles that tear through multiple buildings and yada yada yada. So that's option number one. I don't think
Yeah.
that's practical for the same reason though, that like just making guns illegal in general would be. Here's option two, and I started the stream
Yeah.
with this. I would like your honest thoughts on this concept. What if we simply declare zones to like certain conditions to be automatic gun-free zones? For example, a gathering of more than 100 people is an automatic gun-free zone. Anywhere within 5 miles of a school is an automatic gun-free zone, unless you are a police officer. And the idea behind that is
Hmm.
that if somebody sees a suspicious character walking towards a school with a gun, they don't have to wait for that person to enter the school grounds to call the cops on them. They can say, "We're 3 miles away from a school. This person cannot and should not have this thing. I'm calling the cops now, and I'm justified in doing so." What do you think of that idea?
So, I mean, that's problematic. I mean, honestly, like anybody that's walking around, yeah. I mean, the zone thing kind of does make sense actually when I think about it, because I mean the thing we're not really worried about the people that are concealed carrying. No one's going and
Yes.
shooting up Walmart with a Derringer. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes.
They're not. I have a video that I'm going to do on my channel in a little bit. It's from this guy, Icy Mike, and I actually really like Icy Mike because he's got a really good, well thought out attitude about things, and he's like the exception that proves the rule. He used to be a police trainer, and now he trains people in self defense and martial arts and stuff. And he's pro concealed carry. He's not pro open carry, and he's not pro. Um, he's yeah, the guys that open carry. And so, yeah, there should definitely be zones that, hey, if you're walking around with a rifle in this zone, we're going to talk to you. If you're
Yeah.
walking around with a shotgun in this zone, we're going to talk to you. And if you're walking around, basically, the open carry thing is stupid. That I don't know if that's a constitutional thing that has to be legal, but if not, like they need to just you should be able to open carry somewhere where you can hunt, basically. In my opinion, if you're not a cop or something, you don't need to be having a 44 Magnum in your holster. You don't need to be walking around with an
True.
AR-15 on a strap around your head. The funny thing is a lot of other countries that don't, that do have good gun control, also like they do have cops with automatic weapons at like airports and train stations and stuff like that. um,
Yeah.
and yeah, which is weird because we don't have that here. We almost should, because we're the people that, where Joe Blow from down the street just might have an automatic weapon,
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
I
I do like your idea of zones. Like part of the reason that they didn't have all that many weapons when they stormed the Capitol is because they were keeping them over in Virginia, because the gun control laws are so tight in the Capitol that it's like mandatory minimums, and they didn't want to risk that. You
and there
know.
was an automatic there was just no question. There was an automatically inappropriate place for guns. We knew that
Yeah.
having a gathering of our representatives is not a place where you are simply allowed to have guns, because there's no combination of that that's okay.
So here's the
Similarly,
thing.
kids. I care about kids more than our representatives.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is the people that would want to have guns there should not be allowed to have guns there. The rest of us, hey, that
Yes.
might not be a horrible idea. No, I'm
Can
kidding,
I
of course.
before before we go on, I gotta give a shout out to a couple of ideas from Sandy from Environmental Coffee House here. I like that she said, war weapons, no one needs them. I have a
Yeah.
1970s vintage Ithaca Featherlight shotgun my ex-husband bought me and trained me to use. Way big difference to assault.
Hmm.
Holds
Yeah, totally.
just 5 20 gauge shells. And
And
the other thing
20
is a
gauge.
yeah, yeah. The other
Okay.
thing's a 20 gauge is not big by any means,
No,
but
20
it's
gauge is tiny. That's the size of a AAA battery. That you
yeah,
could make a pistol that would shoot 20 gauge. I used to have when I learned
yeah.
to shoot in Texas. I learned on was it Texas or Virginia? I don't know. It was a long time ago. My dad got me a 410, and I found that in his stuff, and I was like, wow, I used to shoot this. And
But
then
a
as an
20
adult,
gauge
you go,
slug will still absolutely kill a
Well, a
human.
slug, yeah. But I mean,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying
If
it's
you're
a
loading for
I
home defense, you want either buckshot, rock salt, or like skeet loads would be good because that wouldn't kill anybody, but it would just pepper the hell out of their skin, and then they'd be like, "Ah, I'm out, I'm out." Actually, you know what?
yeah.
I saw a good thing. They make a CO2 powered shotgun that looks like a shotgun that shoots pepper balls. And I looked into it. The thing is, the pepper balls are like $3 a piece. So that's like the Chris Rock thing. You're absolutely not
Yes.
wasting bullets on people. But hey, you know what? If someone is coming at me and they've got an AR-15 and I had that, yeah, I'll shoot them with some pepper balls and then I'll go take their AR-15,
Oh my
spank them
god,
with it.
yeah. And
You know?
even if the person just thinks they've been shot, like I've been hit by so many paintballs in my life, and if I didn't if I was in a different context, I've never been
Mhm,
shot. If somebody were to tell, like, if I got hit with a paintball and somebody said,
mhm.
"Oh God, they're shooting," I would think I was shot, and I would
Right.
flee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's another
The other
that's
thing,
another good video by the hard to hurt guy, Icy Mike.
okay. The other thing she said, Sandy suggested was no bars, alcohol, and weapons don't mix. Maybe. But I think just the general concept seems to be one that we're getting behind.
Yeah.
Just default zones where it's just not
Well,
appropriate.
yeah, I think anything needs to be data driven because so many of these things that they do are just nibbling around the edges,
Yeah.
So it's really ironic that the Republicans go, well, you can't, you need to do, and you're like, you just described red flag laws, which you're against,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
you're against red
Amazing.
flag laws, except for you just described a red flag law.
Uh, you know,
My dogs are
that's
goth. What
part.
up?
Hey. Oh, there she is. Yay, my dogs are
Mm,
goth. Good to see you.
Domenico, Environmental
Yes,
Coffee
indeed.
House, Bad Lefty. Hey, did
Mm.
I hear Sandy say last night that shirt she was wearing was something? My dogs are goth. Hey, dude, this is such a long handle. It's like I can't say coffee house. That's like if I started calling Jake WYCD, what you can do, Detroit's best country.
Ha!
It's too long. It's like my dude, my dogs. Sign. Well, I am on news. Okay. Um, yeah, we need to denuclearize this planet too. That stuff's still like super
Oh, for
scary.
sure. For
But
sure. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
understand the
it's,
shirt,
it's
if I'm
you know
honest. I'm delighted,
I didn't see the shirt.
but
It
I
was
get it.
tiny. I was watching that on my phone
Well,
this
I will
morning because
ask
I fell
wait a
asleep
minute, we've
before
got her
that
here.
stuff went down last night.
Sandy, explain the shirt. How is it a reference to My Dogs Are Goth? Please let us know. We were
I think
intrigued, but
she
we
said
didn't
that my
follow.
dogs are goth sent it to her. You know how people
Oh,
have PO
okay.
boxes?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Um,
the Beanie Boy
I
exception.
somebody sent me a gift, which I am tickled by, and I'll tell you this: I'm being very
Is it a
patient, and
tickler?
I'm waiting to reveal it.
Is it French?
It's gonna be a good one. It's wildly adult. I'll say that. It's not sexual, but it is adult, and it's.
Okay.
Let me say this: when Trump gets the sentencing, when he is officially declared guilty in a court of law, which I think will happen, that's
Is
when I'm going to break it out.
We need to steal that one from the TYT soundboard where they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, we got him."
Yes, yes. I don't like that's such a good sound pull. I don't like
Yeah.
that is entirely associated with TY.
I
Should in
don't.
fact,
I don't think
I
that it's
should.
theirs. I mean,
It's not
somebody said that somewhere, sometime. I don't happen to know,
that
which
that was
I
the
kind of feel weird about.
that was the press secretary, I believe, for Barack Obama
Oh,
announcing that we had just
yeah,
got Osama
Osama
bin
bin
Laden.
Laden. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
It's a little
I
smoky
I
up ahead.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Oh, let's see what she says. It said, "Thinking I am just an old lady was your first mistake. Somebody actually did send it to me. I wore it for the graphic, moreover, because I adore my dogs are goth." Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, so did it have goth dogs on it? Were they like
It,
goth dogs
it
playing
must have.
poker? I'm pretty sure you could get like one of those AI art programs to do that.
Oh my gosh, yes. What would
Goth
be
dogs
my
playing
dogs are
poker.
goth? What would be the goth activity instead of poker? Would it be using a Ouija board? It absolutely made my night. It's great to be seen, says my dogs are goth. That's so sweet. All right.
Very
You
cool.
know what? Let me jump in design here. I'm going to upload. No, I'm not going to upload something. Those are video clips. Well,
So
I hopefully a lot
I
of
will
y'all
say
will be
this:
seen.
y'all are in for, in my opinion, a pretty boring drive for the next bit here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna have to pass, even though I just narrowly avoided a ticket, so I don't really want to drive. I'm already driving faster than the speed limit, but that's California. Like the cops tell you that they learn in school to not hassle people for going faster than the speed limit. But at the same time, like you guys just want to see that if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. So, you know, don't want you just watching the back of the Schneider truck for the last 15 hours. It's the Schneider cut. Oh, hey, look, there's a little lake over there. Can you guys see the lake, or are you too low?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I
Yeah.
almost went live earlier than I did because I was in the Grapevine and it was just gorgeous this time of year. It's all these
Oh,
little scrub trees, and sure the grass is brown, but then there's Pyramid Lake there. Y'all should look up Pyramid Lake. Pyramid Lake is gorgeous looking. Um, I don't know. Sometimes when the weather's right and I'm driving around, like every lake I see, I just want to jump in. One of these days, I'm going to.
oh yeah.
I'm gonna find a
Yeah,
lake
yeah, yeah.
somewhere, especially when it's like hot out. You know, no, that's a canal. That's
Absolutely.
not a lake. Yeah, I think eventually I'm gonna have to have like my my camera higher so people can see better. I mean, this is as high as I can get this. Yeah, that's as high as I can get this on this mount.
I gotta
And
say, it's a pretty cool setup, and let me throw this your way. If you
mhm.
ever decide to put like a promotional thing, like literally, if you want to get an ad, for example, on your channel, you could literally just print out a card that has the ad on it or the promotion to send
Oh, and
people to
just hold
wherever
it in
next.
front.
Just light on, like literally tape it onto the dashboard and make it part of the shot.
Yeah, I could do that.
Well,
Or I could just edit it in over the dashboard part of the
sure.
pic. I could also
Or put like a
I could
tchotchke.
also well I could also go portrait with the picture.
Sure.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
go landscape with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think,
Ah,
there's something cool to me about actually seeing the inside of a truck. It's a cool look, and I would probably were I producing this like like we're building a show and every
mhm,
week you get unasked for advice by 10 other coworkers, the unasked for
right.
advice I would give is to just keep incorporating actual physical things. Like if you stop at a truck stop and you get a shot glass or a
Dashboard
magnet.
Jesus.
Yeah, just something from the
There we
area
go.
you're currently in so people can glance
Yeah,
at it and be like, "Oh, he's in
you know what
California."
I would do? You remember from Dogma, the Buddy Christ,
Yes.
where it was Jesus giving a thumbs up? I would put one of those on my dashboard.
Oh my gosh,
That's
yeah.
nice and sacrilegious.
Just get something from whatever area you're in. So if you're in California, you put a little California something up. If you're in Tennessee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh man, that gets messy quick, but we'll see.
Yes. Yes.
That was a yard debris picking up crew. I wonder if those guys are pro or if they're on. That's not a bad gig for those guys that have. What did they get as part of their plea deal?
Oh
Where
my
you
god.
help with the, oh gosh darn it,
Commute
volunteer work,
Yeah, community
community
service.
service. There you
Yeah.
go. Community service.
I
It
actually
even has
have
its own thing on Monopoly.
the specifics of the Mark Meadow, not the Mark Meadow, the Sidney Powell plea deal here. In exchange for pretending like she apologized, Sidney Powell is getting 30 seconds of community service.
And I thought it was 100 hours.
It's oh, excuse me, I misread that. It's 30 milliseconds of thinking about community service. It is let's see, a stern look from the judge.
Right.
Um, what else? A back massage, an all expense paid trip to
Oh,
Italy,
right.
and more sarcastic things. Let me.
I wonder what level of probation they're getting, because there's basically two levels of probation. There's supervised probation, which is you have a probation officer and you check in all the time, and then there's court probation, and court probation is like, hey, you're on probation, don't get in trouble. You know,
Yeah,
court probation is largely a joke, but it's no joke in as much as if you commit a probation violation, hey, they'll probably lock you up for that. You know what I mean?
yeah. Wait, you know what?
Like I've known some I good.
No, nothing. This sounds like you're going somewhere interesting with this. I have more
Well, no, I
Sidney
was just
Powell
gonna
stuff.
say one of my really good friends growing up was kept and he'd get out of rehab and then he'd be on probation and then he'd go smoke some weed, and then of course weed is the
Yeah,
thing that it's impossible to get around the test, or at least it was. And so then he'd go back to jail for a little bit because he had a probation violation smoking weed. You know,
Groove Dragon.
he's actually kind of pissed now that it's legal. He's like, oh man.
I was the same. Listen, I was a industrious young capitalist once
Yeah, me
upon a
too.
time, and I had
Uh-huh.
bittersweet feelings about the legalization.
there
Uh,
there are still, like, there are a lot of hey, there's a cop. There are a lot of people doing it in the illegal respect, because a lot of places the this did not post.
yeah, I'll address the
uh,
comments in a moment. Finish your thought, and
okay.
I'll read some of
There,
these.
well, I mean, I still know people places, and there are still people that are selling weed illegally, and apparently in California, it's the problem that they've had is like all of the licensure standards and whatnot that you have to go through, and then so many people were doing it
Mm,
that it was, no one was making any money at it. And it was costing them all these money to keep up with their licensure. Everything has to be tested, and so basically it was one of those things where everybody but the big operators went out of business.
yeah. Thank you, Gavin
So
Newsom.
so they went from was that a Gavin Newsom thing?
Yes, I wrote. I am holding him responsible for it because he was in charge at the time. It may not have been.
I keep seeing all of these signs. Newsom, back our damn water. These guys are so, like, I don't even know what that's about. And I used to live here, well, more or less. I'm waiting to see what that
He's
CHP does back there before I start going anywhere.
fair
Go ahead.
enough. Yeah. Let me read some of these comments because we have people
Uh,
concerned that we can't see them. Groove Dragon, damn, am I shadow banned? No, we're just giving you the silent treatment for the sake of the drama.
yeah,
No, I'm kidding. We're
I'm
we're goofing
I'm
around, Groove Dragon.
driving, and actually, you know
Yes.
what? The comments actually show up better on here, but
Hmm.
two guitar dogs. I don't even know
Yeah, we're
comments. What was that?
he's driving and I'm just barely able to carry a single thought at a time. So to be able to to
Yeah,
read these, we got to do it in separate sections.
yeah.
Mars Falcon says, "Go rent Over the Top, Jake." Listen, I have seen that Stallone. I've seen that Stallone vehicle, and it's fantastic. But
Adrian.
oh yeah, I will happily rent it again. Go.
Speaking of which,
Get
what did I do with my
bring your son.
hat? I usually. Oh, that's right. I took a shower this morning. My hair is, even this short, is like unmanageable after I once I sleep on it. Like I have the worst bed head ever. So usually I get
Feel
up
you.
in the morning and slap on a hat, and then I take off the hat after I take a shower. Actually, yeah, I put on the hat this morning and went and took a shower at 4 in the morning, and then took off the hat.
Oh, oh, brutal.
Let's see,
Is it is it a proper is it a
trucker
proper
hat.
trucker
Yeah,
hat? Yeah,
yeah.
like
You know
something a
what?
grandpa would.
I was looking at myself in the mirror the other day, and I said, "Oh, you know what? All of these clothes, like everything I'm wearing, has in common. They were all on sale. You know, I have this trucker cap that I got from Walmart for $3. It's something about fishing, I think, or real
Uh,
tree. I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure myself. I will say,
Oh, here we go.
we
Can you
got
guys see that sign? It says "Dump Newsom." These farmers out here, they're not big Navin Gruesome fans.
I mean, I feel the way I feel about Newsom is basically the way I feel about most Democrats. Another thing we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
on the main show tonight, I would prefer a progressive, but he's vastly preferable to any conservative.
Who?
Uh, y
Newsom.
yeah. Yeah.
You know,
He's
California is kind of interesting because California is like a hugely blue state, um, and it's, I mean, it's almost the uniparty. It really is. Like there are a couple pockets of Republicans here and there, but for the most part, the state legislature is something like 70% Democratic, and this and that and the other. And that's actually become problematic because the Democrats are like they're reaching Republican levels of corruption. I mean,
yeah.
if you're a real estate guy in California, you probably own 3 or 4 politicians, and chances are one of them is the governor. I mean,
Yeah.
they do not the Wolfpack, that organization that Cenk founded to get the what is it, the 38th Amendment they're trying to get passed, that would basically overturn Citizens United and get money out of politics.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
they had that all set up and all ready to go into a committee hearing, and some big money lobbyists got word of it, and they kiboshed it like that.
Mm.
It was instant. So yeah, it's
I
funny.
clicked on something I should not have.
So this place has a good deal on fuel. It's only $5.58 for diesel. I got diesel for $3.81 the other day in Texas. California has the highest fuel taxes in the nation. It's over $1 a gallon in fuel taxes. Most other states are like 19 cents.
Yowza.
Did I like
Uh,
Jerry Brown? Jerry Brown he wasn't completely before my time, but he was kind of before my time. You know what I mean? He was governor way back when, and then he was governor again. And that was that was when I was doing other things. I mean, he seemed okay, you know. But I mean, I was living in San Francisco when Gavin Newsom was the mayor of San Francisco, which is kind of funny because he's not gay, and San Francisco is so gay. Like they when one of their yeah, like seriously, like Pride Week there is if you get drunk, you're probably having some gay sex with someone. But one of the events they have is like a gay rave with a bunch of guys going around in speedos with like whistles and face paint and stuff all around City Hall and stuff. And City Hall kind of looks like
ha.
the Capitol. The City Hall of San Francisco is like patterned after the Capitol, and so that's actually it's kind of a hilarious happening. I've got a story
I love
about
it.
that, but I can't really tell it. But it involves our friend Molly and
Ah.
some friends of mine who were actually, it was funny. They were in Molly denial. They're like, "Man, this stuff's bunk. When's this gonna hit?" and I'm hanging out with one of them, and he just turns to me and he goes, "Oh my god, I'm so wasted right now." And I'm like, "Oh crap!" Because once more I'm babysitting, and I'm like, "Okay, I gotta find my other homie." I'm like, "You just sit here," because the other dude had gone to go get the bathroom, and like I found him, and he was wearing like this lion head thing, and there were like girls and I think a couple guys like petting on him, and I'm like, "Okay, come on, bro. I know you're having a good time, but we need you gotta go." San Francisco.
Oh man. Fantastic. Also, I want to say thank you very much to the Vanguard for the incoming raid. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Hello to y'all.
yeah,
Uh,
totally.
the topic we are roughly talking about is what to do about all these guns, but also
Mhm.
just life and what's going on. I actually have a somewhat of a new point of discussion that I thought I'd bring to your attention, somewhat
Okay,
related to what you were just talking about. Let me see
what
if
do
I
you
can
got?
pull up this quote. I was checking out Reddit recently, um, API issues aside. Oh, there it is.
Right.
Here's the post in r/Idaho, and there's just one thing I want to point out to you. Daughter getting negative political crap in third grade. We moved here, Meridian, from elsewhere. We are conservative Democrats. Take that for what you will. We like it here and we do our best to keep our heads down when it comes to politics. But my biggest fear is my kids getting exposed to highly toxic right wing nut job politics. And it
Where
goes
did they
on
move
from there.
to?
They moved to Idaho.
Oh,
What I want to point out, though, is just in that first sentence. We moved here from elsewhere. We are conservative Democrats. This is
right.
somebody out there in the world who's already identifying as a conservative and a Democrat. And I think that is a great sign that we are about to have no Republicans. Number one, do you agree or not? And number two, what are your general thoughts?
Well, so here's my thoughts. The Republicans, they have the Republican media ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, that's really, really good at smearing the Democrats and the terms progressive and the terms socialist. And actually, the mainstream media is pretty good about smearing those terms too. The right wing, the Rush Limbaughs and the Tucker Carlsons and the Sean Hannity's of the world are really good about I mean it's like one of those things with those guys at the Trump rallies that someone goes and talks to him, and it's like, "Oh, hey, do you believe in what do you think about this, what do you think about that, what do you think about this, what do you think about that?" And you're like, "Oh, so you're a socialist, okay." And they're like, "No, I'm from Kentucky." And there's a lot of states that are really owned that way, that are really gerrymandered that way. And there's
Yeah.
let's see, Mark Elias does a thing on Brian Tyler Cohen's channel. Hey, look, that guy's got a fake jack-o'-lantern in the back windshield window of his Airstream little camper, the Dewdrop Inn, as they call them.
I'm gonna expand your screen. Keep going. We'll see if we can spot it.
Yeah. Oh, it's right there. Did you see it? No, never mind.
Nice.
Anyway, so
No, we did. Yeah.
they what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you think of, yeah, someone identifying as a conservative Democrat?
I don't like it. No, I
Ooh,
mean,
why is that?
there are. I wonder what they mean by a conservative Democrat. Were they Republicans that were then like, no, Republicans are crazy, so now I'm going to be a Democrat?
I hope so.
I mean, that's kind of cool. But there's some people out there that are like identifying as conservative Democrats. I mean, I would say Obama's kind of a conservative Democrat. He
Yeah,
certainly didn't campaign as that, but he's neoliberal, and neoliberal is a conservative ideology. If you look it up, it
exactly.
says that. Um, let's see. Yeah, I Sure. I mean, conservative Democrat. I guess the corporatist wing of the Democratic Party is I think they're kind of agnostic to that. All they really care about is money and power and protecting the rich, which is what the corporate ring of the Republican Party. That's their raison d'etre as well. So I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
I
conservative Democrats definitely better than conservative Republicans. Definitely better
yes.
than MAGA crazy. Hi BKK.
I agree with the
Um,
assessment, first of all, that is their reason for being, and that I mean, a neoliberal is just a conservative in the Democratic Party.
yeah,
And I have to say, I think the implications of a person identifying as a conservative Democrat are nothing but good for us.
yeah.
The
It just
reason
seems really weird to me. You know what I mean?
it does, but once
Like, is
like
that as opposed to a liberal Democrat? Isn't a liberal Democrat like kind of conservative, in my opinion?
so the meaning of the words have changed. First of all,
Yeah.
40 years ago, there was such a thing. It wasn't so weird to be a conservative Democrat. It
Uh
used to
huh.
be that if you described yourself as a liberal Democrat, you were saying you were left wing. That is
Right.
what that used to mean.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's fantastic that people who, identify with a conservative ideology, who, by the way, I tend to find don't really understand what they're talking about all that much, um, they have a place to go that isn't also a traitor. You can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I wanna give all the money I can to businesses because I don't understand how any of this works, but I do understand enough that I don't wanna betray the country." To me, that gives me a lot of hope. I do also have to thank, Pendulous Dragon here with a very kind super chat, 4.99. Thank you so much. Woke up from surgery today only to see more death and destruction, and all we get from the government is thoughts and prayers. I can't human anymore. I am sorry to hear that. Let me tell you this. You also woke up into a world where Trump is looking at four of his former attorneys turning on him, and one bail bondsman turning on him. The end of the worst of it is approaching, and hopefully we get a signal back from the Anticorporatist here. I'll vamp a little bit, buddy. Feel free to jump in and cut me off at any time. But yes, first of all, glad you woke up from surgery today. Second of all, how'd it go? How you feeling? Let me know. Third of all, there was some notably bad news. Um, but
Can I hear you
that
now?
is amongst good news. Yes. Hello, welcome back, my friend.
Is my video
Wicked
back or
Foxy
what's up?
Dragon, hello. Yeah, you're back.
My
You're back
my
entirely.
wife called in what is
Ah,
going to be a meme at least for the rest of the year. You know,
it's gonna be like
she
your wife is she's becoming like Columbo's wife
right.
or
I
Merrick
don't know what
from
that means,
Frasier.
but actually
A
she was
character
in my
who's a boy.
chat the last couple days.
Ah, well, never mind, doesn't work anymore. But Columbo's wife was a character we always heard about, but you
Mhm.
never saw.
I'm aware. I loved me some
Oh,
Columbo.
fair. Oh god, yeah. Did also recently get into the Columbo podcast. I'm gonna be dropping Columbo facts.
There's a Columbo podcast.
There is,
Okay,
and it's adorable and very sweet.
very cool.
Oh, let's go Gummy Army. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I'm all for it. Oh, let me jump back up. Tinkerbell, hello. Wicked Foxy Dragon, good to see you. Autumn Leaves, good to see you.
I thought that someone was
Pendulous
just
Thread.
saying that Tinkerbell and Wicked Foxy Dragon were not here.
I gotta tell you, we got the coolest viewers on the planet Earth, in my humble opinion.
So, like, I don't
Pendulous
think
Thread.
that Tim Scott even
What?
has an imaginary girlfriend because she would
No.
have to live in Canada, and he's anti-Canada for some reason. I don't know. He dislikes all foreigners.
Poor Tim Scott. I shouldn't say poor Tim Scott. He's trying to hurt people for his own gain. But
Yeah.
without going into unethical detail, Tim Scott, there is a party you could join where you can be a conservative and you don't have to pretend your other things too. Is all we're
That you're
saying.
not gay.
I mean, I didn't say it.
He sets off my gaydar.
I mean, listen. I don't have a joke. I thought I had a joke. I thought I'd have one ready by the time I said listen. I didn't have one. But no, it's very sad to me. It's very, very sad to me that not only is this guy, first of all, trying to be part of a political party that will not accept him for who I suspect he is. But that whole conservative Democrat thing is what, at least I've been saying on my channel for some time. The Democrats, until recently, have been quite conservative. And they will not hesitate to act as a foil to progressives as soon as we get rid of Republicans. But it's kind of crucial that
devil up ahead.
Oh, go ahead. What now?
No, I was just commenting. There's a dust devil up ahead. You know how ADHD I am. Yeah, that was one of the things when they had to force the vote, saying they're like, "Oh, we're gonna force the vote," and I'm like, "You idiots! Pelosi will just get some Republicans to vote for it." And sure enough, Pelosi got some Republicans to vote for it.
Oh,
like,
I mean, kudos to the force the vote people in the very beginning for thinking outside the box. Okay, but by the time it came time to act, it was very clear that it was that is a dust devil. Wow.
Yeah.
It was very clear that fourth vote was not going to work.
I keep meaning to look into that storm Otto. Was it Otto? Sandy was talking about it. The hurricane that just hit Acapulco, really weren't ready for it because it just looked like it was going to be this piddly tropical storm, and then right when it got off the coast, because the waters were so hot, it suddenly intensified to a Category 5 with 168 mile per hour winds and just effed everything up. And I haven't heard much about it. But then again, of course, the script, good one, bad lefty. But I don't really pay attention much to those kind of channels. You know what I mean? Because I don't know, you probably caught it in my stream the other day, but politics really is central to everything else.
Yes. And I'm trying to find the comment, but somebody, I think, just let me put Mars Falcon's comment back up there for a moment. I think this states it pretty well. A Republican by any other name is just as cranky and anti-human.
Yeah.
Beware the wolves in sheep's clothing. Identify the person. This is, I think, the best part. Identify the person by the policy. There it is.
Yeah. Mars Falcon. I have yet to see a bad take from Mars Falcon.
They're pretty sharp, I gotta say. I'm a fan.
Yep.
Cat K saying it's important to remember that actions speak louder than words, specifically with any and all politicians. Know their policy. Good point. Yes. I think we're going to enter into a moment in history where political parties are being reformed. And as that is happening, even if we don't change any other names and we still say Republicans and Democrats, the makeup is going to be different. And as that is happening, it is crucial that we learn the language policy. We understand what people are saying when they propose one policy versus another. We understand what they're trying to avoid saying. And as a case in point, I just want to mention, dear friend of multiple shows, Kowalski from Nebraska, ran as a Republican. So these
Friend to
these
all,
labels
as
are
well
going to
he
be
should.
yes,
I,
yeah,
I considered running as a Republican in my district because where I live in Illinois, um, Mary Miller, MAGA Mary Miller is my representative, but
oh,
basically Illinois is is a gerrymandered Democratic state, and so I live in this Republican district that's enormous, mainly because it's rural, but also because they packed it and cracked it
oh,
and stacked it and smacked it. And there are like a lot of Trump signs in my neck of the woods. A lot of soybeans, a lot of corn, and a lot of Trump signs.
oh.
You know,
So a lot of
not not to change the
fertilizer.
subject, but
No, go ahead.
that reminded me because Andrea is like famous for Trump won, and then she was ripping you a new one yesterday. I almost
Oh,
felt like telling them that I had distracted you and you were in my stream, which I think is true, but
oh,
people become creatures of habit. You're used to, oh, okay, hey, this is left class 10. We do it at 10.
oh.
It's weird that they only went like an hour.
She
I
she
would think that they could go longer than that.
well, yeah, it
Sword
was
has a sword.
pre-recorded. Uh,
Yeah,
most
I know, I know, I
like,
know.
which I just mean like the size of the file is a limiting factor at that point. But uh,
Yeah, that's true. That's
the
true.
as far as rip it into me, to me that's a gift. I'm like, oh, first of all, she had me rolling. Second of all, she was exactly correct. Oh, in fact, both Matt and Andrea were exactly correct. Number one, my internet was out in the morning. Number two,
Yeah,
irrelevant. It was irrelevant because I just forgot. I did not. I sent them a
right.
picture the moment I realized I had forgotten a major recording, which was as I was setting up the stream that you guys saw that night on Two for Tuesday. The
Yeah,
camera was on, so there was a 30-second delay of my face, and it's literally me going like, it's that face that, Steve Carell makes in The Office. It was somewhat,
okay.
embarrassing. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was fun for me to watch. Sorry I didn't do any of the work. Just like a shitty person to be
Right.
assigned, in class.
Well, I mean, you know what? To be fair, Sandy, I don't know how long Sandy's been streaming, but I mean, Matt and Andrea have been doing content for years. So, whereas this is what, like my third day or something, whereas I've been watching for forever. But I mean, um, Matt was talking about Matt the letter hack was talking about how Adobe Premiere is set up horribly, and I was like, I haven't even messed with Premiere yet,
Yes. Yeah.
so
Well,
definitely could take some hints from that guy. So it wasn't like you were putting them out. He was just like, oh, I guess Jake's not here. Okay, click.
yeah, we agreed in making this thing. That's the attitude we're going to have with every
Yeah,
single Left Past 10. On a
yeah,
related note, you're well into, like, doing your streaming as, like, as a side gig, so to speak, and
yeah.
I just now thought of some actually usable advice. I will pass it along live. Just
Okay.
do whatever you can do a lot of. F it. Like, if it's easier, do that. Because what's good and unique about you will come out all on its own.
Right.
And you'll polish as time goes on, and the means to polish
Yeah.
will be made available to you as time goes on. But for God's sake, like, if something's causing you a headache, just don't even bother with it.
Yeah. No, I hear you. But I definitely, yeah, like you say, I want things to evolve. Um, I was one of my streams the other day. I started on camera and then I switched to the view out the front. And I'm like, hey, what do people like? They like me on camera. They like the front. I can't do both at the same time. And like everybody's like, we don't want to see your ugly mug. We want to see where you're going. That's fascinating to them for some reason. I don't get it, but then again, this is what I do. You know what I mean? Like this is work to me.
Yeah.
Although you know what, before I became a truck driver, I always liked driving, and I'd drive around places. The thing that would be really crazy is so I had the same job and the same commute for 8 years. Yeah, for like like 2 months over 8 years, and so I made that commute 5 times a week for 8 years. And one time my wife was taking me to work and we got to the top of the San Mateo Bridge. And the San Mateo Bridge is the bridge that there's three bridges that go across the San Francisco Bay. Well, I mean, there's the Golden Gate Bridge too, but there's three bridges that go across the bay from east to west if you're going from like Oakland to San Francisco. And the San Mateo Bridge is the middle one. And so it's an interesting bridge in that it's like driving down a pier for the first like 5 miles. It's just level, and then it shoots up and shoots down, and that's so that boats or ships, I guess, can get under the bridge. If you're in a ship and you want to run into a really solidly built bridge, well, hey, stay to the east side. If you're on there was some CHP going the other way. I saw them a mile out, but I wasn't really doing anything untoward. But I am going to chill for a second here. We can see that there's more to crime, a truckload more. But so the point was that she was driving me this one time, and we get to the top of that bridge, and I look out and around, and I go, "Oh my God! The fog is coming in over those hills, and look at all the forest and stuff." And she kind of looked at me like, yeah, you've seen this a million times. I'm like, no, I've never seen it, because right when you go over that hump, there's frequently traffic like backed up on the other side of it. It's actually kind of a dangerous place. You got to have your wits about you, But for once, I wasn't driving. Because, I always drive, but I was super tired, so she was driving me to work while I took a nap. And then she came in and did my favorite thing, which she comes in and makes me wait on her when I'm like busy. I'm like, babe, I run a restaurant. I'm kind of busy, right? Sure, I can make you a strawberry daiquiri.
It is amazing how much perspective changes a situation.
Yeah.
Same drive, different seat, totally different experience.
Yeah.
I sometimes worry that's politics. Like, I worry that a bunch of us are gonna get into office and find out we can't do even a quarter of the things we thought we could. But anything's better than what we got. I still encourage it.
I really think that we need to throw in our lot with the Zoomers.
Yes.
We need. I mean, they're all super progressive. They all grew up with other kids that were gay, other kids that were black, other kids that were brown. All of that stuff. And they have a real sense of fairness. And I think actually, you and I, we're not quite the same generation, but like we were kind of the rare ones of our generation that really like just had a sense of fairness,
Yeah.
Like people complain that things are not fair, and we're the ones that are like, yeah, it's not fair. We should do something about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
as opposed
like
to
other people are like, that's not fair, and then the other people are like, well, get used to that, kid. And it's like, why should they have to get used to that? We should fix that. But so, I mean, I don't think we have any Zoomers in either of our audiences, but we should figure that out. One of the things I wonder about that is TikTok is huge. TikTok is huge with the, well, okay, sure. TikTok is huge with the Zoomers. I wonder if Mary Ann's doing better than we think she is.
That might be worth
because I mean, because they do their polling, and then you hear all this stuff about the polling. It's like they polled landlines, You know, my son was 10 years old. We were in the car, and I was driving him to school because well, you got to drive the kids to school. Actually, I think I was driving him from school, and and I had to call my friend Chris, who will be a year dead on the third. Drank himself to death by the time he was 50. It's
Mm.
horrible. Brilliant guy. Anyway, he had had some issue and he was in the hospital, and I was supposed to call his mom for him, and I had it on the Bluetooth speaker in the car, the Bluetooth, and I was calling, and I got the busy signal, and my son Nick went, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What is what?" He goes, "That noise," and I'm like, "It's the busy signal." And he's like, "Doesn't she have call waiting?" And I'm like, "Well, apparently not." And he goes, "Well, is she like old or something?" And I'm like, at the time where I'm like, "Well, her son's 45, so I mean, she's not winning Miss Teen Vogue anytime soon." But they he was I think he was about 10 years old at that point, and it was the first time he'd ever heard the frickin' busy signal. So they don't know what they don't know, and they do know what they do know, and it seems to them that things should be able to be fair, and they don't. A lot of us have been beaten down by, well, hey, they aren't fair, and I think that they have a better sense of justice than the rest of us.
Agreed.
you know
Yeah.
but also, I mean, he had a job at Walmart, and like they scheduled him a close open, and he just quit. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "They don't treat me right. I'm out of there." I'm like, "Wow, what an attitude to have."
Yes. Yes.
I was like, "They don't treat me right. I'm only going to work like another 6 years and get like 3 promotions here, and then maybe buy the place and find out that it wasn't doing so good as good as I thought financially." And yeah, that was bad.
I'm only going to dedicate all of my energy, 6 years of my life, move across states, change my children's lived experience, and have an ulcer. That's all they're getting out of me because this isn't a good company. Yeah. What we, one of the, hopefully you can still hear me. I believe you're getting a call, but for the audience, hopefully one of the lessons the older three generations learn is that some of our lessons were bad. Our view of work ethic needs to change drastically. It's not work ethic to uh, keep assisting people that are conning you. It's That's not work ethic. That's just being a victim. Uh, when your boss tries to get you to work without paying you, you are not helping yourself. You are screwing your coworkers. And we've lost Anticorporatist. Darn it. We'll tell you what. Hey, he's back. All right. Welcome back, brother man. Oh, now he's dang it. We'll tell you what. This is perhaps a good spot. Oh, Bad Lefty, I'm still running behind, says Bad Lefty, at 1.5 speed. Let me try that again. I'm still running behind at 1.5 speed. I was referring to Marianne's POTUS run. Yeah, no, it was a good question. Um, stand by for a second. Since you're running behind, uh, let me just say, stand by, stand by. I'm out of my ramen noodle. We have nothing in common, poodle. I'm a Doberman. Pinch yourself in the arm and pay homage, pupil. It's me. My honesty's brutal, but honestly futile. If I don't utilize what I do, though, for good at least once in a while, so I want to make sure somewhere in this chicken scratch I scribble and doodle. I'm beginning to feel like a rap god. And Anticorporatist is back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Speak of the devil, my kid called. I'm actually rolling by his place in about 10 hours here.
Oh, all right. Well, on a semi-related note, Mars Falcon, Marshall Mathers. Yes, indeed. That's for the one. 5 speed crowd. I was just saying, it's probably a good time for me to wrap this up because I do have to. Fair enough. Well, gang, it's a good time for me to wrap this up because now, if we like the no gun zones idea, I've got to research and see if somebody else already did it and see if it's practical for us to demand that at the state level. I think it is, but I just don't know. Anticorporatist, I'm gonna check
Thing.
out.
Okay.
I'm gonna head
Hey,
out. Mhm.
why don't you go ahead and head out, and I'll go ahead and launch my stream because I really have nothing better to do, and I'm just down the road.
Kick ass. All right, man. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for having me. I look forward to your show tonight. Did you tease it?
Rad. Yes, what we talked about tonight on this stream will be fleshed out, and I will tell people how they can accomplish it as best I can seize it.
There you go. Well,
All right,
then
brother
that
man.
is what you can do.
All right, talk to you later, my friend. Thank you for the plug.
Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.
See y'all. I'll be modding, guys. All right, Looney Tunes. Bye, y'all. Take care, Bad Lefty, Pinkerbell, My Dogs Are Goth, Wicked Foxy Dragon, the whole gang. Pendulous Dragon, I see yous, and I'll see you around.